Hi, Charles Cherney here with The Real Deal, my answers to common questions in residential real estate. So today we're going to look at three common questions presented by buyers in their search to buy a home with me in Cambridge and Somerville, Massachusetts. So number three, do I need to obtain more than one pre-approval letter from a lender? And my answer to this is no, you only need one pre-approval letter, and it really is actually in your best interest to have just one pre-approval letter, as if you reach out to multiple lenders for multiple letters, it's probably going to have an adverse effect on your credit score because each lender will need to run a credit check. Moreover, each lender will need financial information. So, out of respect for your privacy, you may not want to be sharing your financial information with multiple parties when it's really not necessary to do so. The key is to identify a local lender with a good reputation who has done transactions in the marketplace in Cambridge and Somerville that you can depend on and count on for a pre-approval letter. I, of course, have a list of recommended lenders, and I share this with my buyers, and they will select typically someone from this list. Now, when you make an offer, you attach your pre-approval letter to it if your offer includes a mortgage contingency, and therefore it can be that the listing agent and the seller take a look at who wrote the letter, and it's in your best interest for the letter to have been written by a local lender who's known, respected, and has experience in the marketplace. So that doesn't mean as a buyer you can't shop for the loan with multiple lenders. It's typical that once a buyer has an accepted offer, they may then talk to two, three, or four lenders to ultimately decide on who will be the lender they work with for the loan. So you're not obligated to get the loan from the lender that writes the pre-approval letter, but it's in your best interest to have one letter from one local lender that you'll be attaching to your offer to make a good impression on the listing agent and the seller. And if your search continues over a period of time, you can always get the letter updated from the party that prepared it. Look, the person writing your pre-approval letter is doing so as a courtesy in hopes of beginning a relationship with you that leads to you doing a loan with them. So they may, in fact, be the person that does your loan. And again, to go back to the beginning, you really just need one pre-approval letter from one reputable local lender with experience. Okay, number two on the list in today's series of three questions, do I need to see a property I'm going to be bidding on more than once? Well, that's a great question. So you don't really need to, but it is wise. And the reason is it's oftentimes the case that when you first see a property, it could be love at first sight and excitement, and you are thrilled and you see the positives, and you focus on, in your mind's eye, making an offer, and you may almost be distracted by your excitement in truly seeing and experiencing the property. Now, this isn't true for every person. Obviously, everyone's different. Some people can take a property in on one viewing and take it in with complete absorption and focus. But look, there's nothing wrong with a second visit. In fact, it's recommended because it either will confirm your excitement and your desire to bid, or it will give you an opportunity to rethink your initial excitement and consider some things you're seeing second time around that you didn't focus on when you were first there. So look, we've all been on an exciting first date, and it's often the second date that tells the tale of whether there's a future. So I think with home shopping, if you do see a place you do like, it is wise to aim to see it a second time. Now, in the last several years, the Matterport 3D tour has emerged, and this does give you the opportunity in many instances now to walk through a home virtually, as so many listings now have 3D tours. Understood that some people don't like 3D tours, but they do give you the ability to have the experience of visiting the property in three dimensions from your desk for a property of interest. And this can be valuable if the listing you're interested in offers a Matterport tour. So, and look, over the years, I've had buyers from out of town who couldn't visit the property even once. They had to depend on me to visit, to send them photos and videos and floor plan, and share my observations on their behalf about a subject property because they just couldn't get here because they were on the other side of the world or whatever it might be. So you can make an offer sight unseen. You can make an offer after one visit, but in a perfect world, if you have the opportunity, visit the subject property you're going to bid on more than once so you can confirm the decision you're making to go forward with a bid. And then number one on my list is, are pre-offer home inspector consultations valuable? So to understand this question, we need to understand what a pre-offer home inspection consultation is. And what it is it's a visit by a home inspector to a property that you're interested in making an offer on for approximately an hour, could be a little more. And then the inspector summarizes his or her thoughts about the property based on that hour-long plus visit with you after the visit is completed. If you're with the inspector at the property, the summary is typically done on the sidewalk out front. And if you're with the inspector on the consult, there's commentary during the hour plus that you're at the property with the inspector. So my answer to this question is, I do think they are valuable. And they're done typically for properties that have bid deadlines. So let's say 123 Main Street is listed for sale on Friday. It has open houses on Saturday and Sunday. Bids are due Tuesday at 4 p.m. Therefore, it may be, if you've gone to see it on an open house on the weekend and you like it and know that the bids are going to be due Tuesday at 4, that you book a pre-offer home inspector consult on Monday for an hour. And so then you, as the buyer, myself as the buyer's agent, and the home inspector that you've hired come to the property for the consult. And this could give you peace of mind if you're going to make an offer without a home inspection contingency, that you've had an inspector at least spend some time with you at the property, considering what you can consider in an hour and the main components of the home. Look, a consultation is not the same thing as a full-blown home inspection with a written report. But in a hot market where you are expecting to be one of several offers on the table at the bid deadline, we can appreciate that there's very little leverage that you as a buyer are going to have with regard to minor defects in a property. So for example, if on a full-blown home inspection, it's discovered that one of the windows in the bedroom doesn't open and close properly, we can appreciate that you're not going to make an offer with the seller being required to fix that, because in a competitive bidding situation, the seller is unlikely to consider an offer that has the request that he, as a seller, undertake certain actions on your behalf when there are other offers that are free of such requirements. So again, in a compressed bidding time frame where you've seen the property, bids are due shortly after, it may only be possible to find time for an inspector to do a consultation. And you might imagine when you're there that the inspector is taking in or aiming to observe within that time frame he's there, the serious structural elements that are part of the built environment to give you an overall impression of the property. So it's interesting when you're on the clock and there's a limited amount of time, a lot gets accomplished. So these consults, in my experience, are packed, efficient, and valuable. I don't mean to take away from the value of a true full-blown home inspection, but consultations, when you're in a situation where you're looking at a bid deadline, can be very valuable and give you peace of mind about your decision regarding whether you're going to remove the home inspection because you've been to the property for a consult. So I do find them to be valuable, and to say that is to take nothing away from the value of a full-blown home inspection. My name is Charles Cherney, and I am a top residential real estate agent helping buyers and sellers in Cambridge and Somerville, Massachusetts. If I can be of assistance to you as you aim to buy the right home, be in touch by text, telephone, or email. I welcome the opportunity to connect with you and to answer your additional questions as you give thought to buying in Cambridge and Somerville. Be in touch.